I haven't gotten through it yet, not to detour too much because it's, beyond our generation. But I think that you and I both are big appreciators of the Beatles. But I'm only halfway through the Peter Jackson documentary, but well, not Peter Jackson, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Really interesting, like their whole process. And it's kind of interesting to see them as human beings and faulty human beings at that. And we've kind of all heard the rumors about it, whatever it is. But I got to tell you, what's the word? Ringo Starr is a mensch. I mean, this guy is just holding it down. That's his job anyway, but he's also kind of holding it down as like the very rooted person, except for he bails a little bit.
Right.
All right. So let's get back a little bit.
Wi-Fi's getting funky right now.
Oh, your internet's getting funky? Yeah, we are destined to have some technical difficulties. It's going to happen.
Yeah, every now and then it says your internet connection is unstable, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. But I hear it. It's pretty good. It's all right.
Here's a perfect time. I wanted to mention something because you wouldn't know this and no one at home would know this either. So I normally record on a very different microphone. I record on a microphone that is, kind of came with the PodTrack deck. So it's really, I bought a whole suite of podcasting, materials. However, what I'm using tonight, Justin, this is my Shure Prologue microphone that I used in many of our bands.
Really?
And I still have it around the house. The kids have also used it. And, my oldest is very interested in creating music of his own. So I thought I would bust this out tonight and see how it works. And, it's just kind of like a cozy old friend that I can sit here and talk to you using this microphone a number of times that we've shared a space with this thing in my hand. All right, so we had to go ahead and cut off the podcast right there for this week. Justin and I ended up talking for about 3 hours. So, of course, I want to break this up into multiple episodes. I really anticipated that was going to happen anyway, because when two old friends just start chatting about topics that interest them, we could go all over the place and pretty much talk for 3 hours. So I've broken it up into 3 episodes, so please keep an eye out. Keep an ear out, I guess, is more accurate. I think we delve into some really interesting topics that we get into next week on the next part of the podcast that were things that weren't necessarily things we planned on talking about. We just kind of meandered into these different topics, and I do think some of them are going to be really interesting, particularly those who are interested in history and different forms of musical theory. So again, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I urge you to join us all next week. As always, please leave 5-star reviews, likes, any way that you can go ahead and interact. You can follow me at StuckPodX on both Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me at the Stuck in the Middle podcast over on Facebook. And please keep an eye out on YouTube, where we may have some interesting content coming out in the next few weeks. Again, thank you so much for listening. Later, slackers.